Welcome to our session from SME knowledge to interactive course using AI to reduce development time. My name's Mark and I'll be running the session today. I thought I would just start with a poll. If you want to answer the poll, and then while we're waiting for people to join, and then we'll go from there. Start with that. Are you creating courses for the Australian market? Just want to tailor the session as much as I can. This is always a good way to do that, to know who's in the meeting. And also, you know, when we have extra people joining. Right. Give it another 15 seconds and then I'll close it. So last chance. Those who are joining, we're just doing a couple of polls before people join. While people join. And this one, start a new one. Looks like everyone's from Australia at this point. Let's go back to the next poll. While people are joining, I thought I would do a couple of polls. Hopefully everyone can see and hear me. How long have you been creating courses? Mixture, by the looks of it. Anyone joining? We're just doing a poll before we kick off. We're waiting for people to join. I'm gonna let it go in a couple more seconds, last chance. Looks like we have a good mixture of people with knowledge. Last one, and then we'll get started. Do you work for a registered training organization? Interesting. Mostly yes, but there's a couple non-accredited. Interesting. Okay, it's leveling out. Got quite a few non-accredited. And I'll give it another 15 seconds. All right. Gonna end that poll. Looks like we've got a good mixture. All right. So now everyone, before I get into it, I just thought I would do a little bit of housekeeping. So you won't be able to speak today, but you will be able to ask any questions via the chat function. Now, up the top right-hand corner, there's like a little speech bubble with a question mark in it. That's where you can ask your questions. So feel free to ask any questions. Actually, I might ask if you want to answer using this question function. Those who are doing the non-accredited training, is it that you're doing HR or is it that you're doing just non-accredited delivery outside of like non-accredited training? Just curious. You can answer by typing in a question. No. Okay, I just wanted to tailor the session if that was the way. All right. Innovation. Sorry, Grant says building an assessment solution in validation. Oh, in innovation. And great, interesting. All right, let's get a start. That'll help. I'll be able to talk through that. All right. So thank you everyone for joining. My name's Mark. I'm a business development manager here at eSkilled. I don't just sell our course creator software. I also do our student and learning management systems. Now, if I use the word LMS, that's what it is, learning management system. This tool here that I'm going to be promoting today is our AI course creator tool. So it will create you the content. Um, it's not an LMS, right? So you will still have to have an LMS, but it will connect to pretty much any LMS on the market, including ours, but also any other. So I just thought I would touch on that. Now the session today, what is AI Course Creator and how is it different? We're going to do a practical demonstration on the AI Course Creator, including creating a course. I'm going to do an accredited course for the Australian market, but that doesn't matter. You can use any. You don't have to do an accredited unit of competency. You can do anything you want. And in fact, I've got an example of one that's not accredited that has been very, very well received. So I'll show you that one as well. We'll also do some AI assisted editing as well, themes, and how we would share that to your LMS systems. We're going to talk about pricing. We're going to go through feedback and questions if you have any. Feel free to ask during the session just by typing into that question bubble as we go. This will also be recorded and you will receive a copy of it in a few hours after the session. I think 3 hours is what it's set to send you that recording and a little note with trial links and so forth. So yeah, feel free to take a look through that. I'm also going to give you a discount for today as well. So when you join, you get a special discount code. All right. So what is AI Course Creator and how are we different from what's out there? Firstly, we're an incredible AI-powered authoring tool. It is a tool that will create you content. It will also convert content from a document that you have into an e-learning as well. So if you have the content that you're happy with the text of, you can convert it as well. It has a user-friendly interface. It has AI-assisted editing as well as AI-assisted generation. It's trained. So how are we different? This is really more how are we different? We've trained our AI based using our instructional design team. We've created content for vet in Australia for years, and we used our design team to build it. So we use the tell, show, do methodology, provide content, practical examples, case studies, scenarios, and then do is like a quiz. We'll do a formative quiz, FYI, if you're in the vet sector. It's got beautiful and custom themes as well. It scaffolds the course with images and flip cards built directly into the overall design. Very important thing here because I feel like a lot of delivery, a lot of these AI tools will generate you content, yes, but will it scaffold the course beautifully in a nice sort of layout and design? So this is something that our system probably will beat anything on the market on. Also publishes into any LMS via SCORM. If you know what the word SCORM means, you'll understand that. I'll explain it a little bit later. Or it can integrate via LTI. LTI is just basically a connection system that will connect to any LMS system. So let's see it in action. Now, I've got an example of an accredited unit of competency that I'm going to show you, and I want to hit go on this as soon as we can. So I'll go through the prompting, and we'll talk you through the process of setting up a course. But just know, before I do that, I just wanted to touch on an example course that I've done for an Aboriginal organisation here in Australia. So what I've done, a client of mine requested some content to be done, or wanted some guidance on how to build content within our tool, and we used this to create it. What they did, they have this envisioning empowerment workshop they deliver face to face, right? And so they have PowerPoint, and they have this sort of document that basically shows the teacher what to do in any event. So what I did was I grabbed the documents and uploaded it in the prompting function, which I'll show you in a minute. And this is the course that it generated. I haven't edited this except for one little thing that I'll show you. I'll tell you when I did it. Everything else I've just left as it stands. Obviously, you would edit things as well, but this is how it comes out with 20 minutes. It just how it comes out. And so let's start this here. So firstly, learning objectives is sort of like a title page with just a little blurb on each section. And then there's topics and subtopics. So the topics sort of look like this. You might have some accordion, some images, maybe some flip cards, right? Topics is just sort of introducing the topic. And then we have subtopics. Now, subtopics will give you the crux of the content. So you'll see here, it also generates images that are diagrams. Now, one really important thing here is from the document that I uploaded and a bit of the artwork that's in the document, the branding that's in the document, you'll notice they've add little flares, design flares from that document. This isn't actually something that that was in the document. This was maybe handwritten, or like some of this stuff that was added wasn't nicely designed, but this has designed it beautifully in the output. And flip cards, I've just I've replaced the text on a flip card with an image and then put the text on the back. So you can just, I guess what I'm trying to say is you can edit those sort of things if you want it to look slightly different. That's really the only editing I've done in this whole course, right? AI has generated all the images here. It has not been me adding stock images or anything like that. AI generated these. And one of the biggest notes I have, our community, our strength, is their little tagline that they have for the company. And AI has sought fit to throw that onto an image on the wall, which I think is really handy. Really good output. And obviously quiz, nice looking quiz, sort of how it looks. The other thing I wanted to sort of share, look at this diagram generated by AI. Very, very cool stuff. Again, nothing like this was in the document. It was really a basic yarning wheel diagram. So this is really cool. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you. That's how it comes out. Obviously, I'm going to show you there's some more interactions that you can add in as well, but I just thought I would share that one because I thought it was a really good example of non-accredited delivery. So if there's anything that you're wanting to deliver for innovation, for validation, you'll note that this tool is very good at giving that output. So feel free to ask any questions about any of that, but that's there. The other example I have is a unit of competency. I actually used the same unit that I'm about to use with you now, and I'll generate a different course with that. One thing to note, when you're using AI, obviously it's generating a new bit of content every single time it generates. It is not using this, it's not going to be, nothing is going to be the same. It's going to be similar, and it's going to have similar texts and stuff, but it's going to be different. It's going to be different. The text is going to be completely different in each time, and the images are going to be different as well. So this is what I'm going to show you, the CHC ADV unit, and I've sort of put it into aged care, so it's a little bit different. I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. But yeah, this is a different theme. Similar sort of layout, but like yeah, you get the point. All right, let's get into it. So this is what you get. Everyone who signs up with us gets their own portal into our system. We are AI tool agnostic, which means that we will choose the best tool for the best output. Right. So we are always testing all the tools and making sure that we get the best output each time we test. Where we will change, and it might change credit systems, it might change whatever according to the best tool for the output. So if we believe it's worth the extra value, we will 100% add it in. To the example of when we first added AI generated images, we were using the Google's Nano Banana engine. That jumped everything by a lot, by tenfold on what AI generation image gen was like. And then within a month, ChatGPT jumped it again with their new AI image gen engine. So we now use ChatGPT again, and that gives you a better, more cost-effective output as well. But also the image gen is even better again, which is really cool. So that's good news. So what you do if you want to create a course is you hit the create a course button. You will have your logo in the top left-hand corner here. I'm just using this one for our demo account. But yeah, you'll have your logo. This will be your portal, right? So it's your content. You're running it through our tool, but it's your content. All right. So when I hit generate, when I hit create a course, I've actually started creating course, so I don't have to type out the whole course here. I'm using that CHC ADV unit, right? Um, First step is to just have a name and then describe your course audience. Okay. So the audience is, who are you delivering to? Get specific with it. Like with my one, I've put in applies to workers within the aged care setting in New South Wales who provide services using human rights based approach and have direct interaction with clients. This will form a part of the search for in aging support for these workers. Right. So this is that's the sort of output you need to put in there. You could, if you're delivering to school age students, you put their age level. If you're delivering to, whatever it's part of, I would make sure you mention that a bunch of times in here. So that's note. And then I've put the name of the course, right, including the unit code. Unit code is important if you're doing accredited learning. If you're not, obviously just general language will work perfectly fine here. In fact, if anything, it'll work even better. So you can just type in. So I've got the course in detail, and then I've got this form. This is part of a cert for an aging support in New South Wales. So I've added that again. It's really important with AI to keep reiterating what you're saying, right? That's something to note. Now, there's two course creation types. I'm going to show you creative today, but just know that if you have some text, if you have a learner guide of what you're 100% happy to deliver, right, and you just want to add, you don't want to really edit it at all, and the text is you're happy with the text, you can use document conversion, and that's like what we call our strict mode. So it will actually just convert what you've written there into an e-learning. So it uses AI to structure the course rather than using it to generate the text. But I'm going to show you creative because that's really where this tool shines. Okay. So the other thing I've done is attach reference documents. Really important, right? Because if you want something to be really nice output, I would 100% add things in here. That the one that I showed you before with the Aboriginal corporation, right? I added both the PowerPoint document and that I converted it to PDF and added it in, and I also added their Bible, they call it. So I added 2 documents to generate that beautiful output. So I would get you to add in whatever documents you want. You'll notice there's lots of options here. If you're doing an accredited unit of competency, obviously it's unit, right? But if you're doing if you are clustering it into multiple units together, or if you're doing something non-accredited, you can generate yourself a curriculum document. So that might be something that goes through the process or the structure of what you're wanting your course to be. Learner resources, right? Staff handbooks if you're doing HR stuff, policies and procedures, industry specific standards or guidelines, legislation, laws, regulation, really important stuff, right? Um, and then you just click to upload it from the tool. So I've already done this, but I click the unit and I put it as a unit of competency. And then I added it. You'll notice it's here. That's the unit from training.gov, if you know the accredited stuff. And then it's there. So next step is to go into context. Sorry, before I move on, does anyone have any questions on any of that? Are we good? Yeah, I think I'll keep going, but feel free to ask them. Step 2, course context. So what this is going through sort of how it's like a wizard for prompting, because we find that the more interaction we give you, the better the output becomes, right? Sorry, Abdul asked, instead of uploading, can you provide a URL link? No, you can't. You would have to upload. You can reference the URL in the document, but what I would get you to do is get the URL link, copy the text from the URL into a Word document, and then upload that, or upload a PDF of that Word document, whichever way. I wouldn't be using a website, because I think the important thing here is that you want it only to be the text that you want in your course, because the more you don't want it to confuse the AI by not understanding what you're putting forward, right? So I would suggest that you review what's in there and make sure that it still follows the same, because you want it to preempt to back up what you've written in your prompting, right? So that's really important. Yeah, copy what text from the URL is relevant. That would be, sorry, my best advice there. So all right, first thing, course depth and breadth. How much text do you want? All right, it goes from comprehensive to overview. Comprehensive is a lot of text, right? Like that's a lot. You will find that it's quite a lot of text. So I go standard by default. But you can, if you find that standard is even too much, this gave me 13 hours of 13 hours of delivery. If you know, oh no, completion time 13.6 hours estimated completion time. So and that's standard. So that gives you an idea on how much text you get. Right? Reading level. There's a speech bubble here that tells you reading age and description. I think they sort of contradict each other a little bit. Mostly I go standard, right? Even though it says 12 to 14 reading age, I think it's sort of deceptive to put reading age. So I like to say start with standard. If they're a little bit more, you know, like higher level language, then I can go up to fairly difficult. I'd only go difficult if it was completely like university graduates needing a really complex course. Even university graduates, I go fairly difficult. So just to note. Language, 96 different languages. You can deliver courses in whatever language you want, right? From there. If you choose another language, it's going to generate in that language. It's not going to translate. It's going to generate. Now, if you've uploaded documents from English, then it is doing a little bit of translation in terms of translating the topics and stuff. But outside of that, it's not really translating at all. It's generating in that language. Tone of voice. This means the tone of the language that's used in the text, right? So I like professional, casual, or encouraging. They're my favorite ones, but yeah, feel free to use whatever language style you want. Country, Country context, really important. I've put Australia here. And then other contextual considerations. This is where you would put industry, where you would put, you know, political, social, economic, whatever you're wanting to put in there to give you an idea on things like case studies and the reference material. So I've put case studies and reference material should be relevant to aged care in New South Wales. So that's really clear, I think. Basic. I'm just doing a basic version of it. You might add a bit more text there into some of these other ones. So go next. Step 3 is how does it look and what am I doing, right? So obviously we talked about learning objectives. Do you want to add those? I would definitely recommend adding case studies because that gives you the show part of the process. Include images. Just do it, right? I feel like it takes a lot of generations to generate with images, but it builds you a much more structured, scaffolded course. So I wouldn't be doing it without images there. Okay. Now you'll notice it says each image is 2,000 generation credits. I'm going to include videos. Now, videos isn't generating you video content. What it is doing is searching YouTube for relevant video content. It's not going to always put a video in there. It's only going to put it in there when it's relevant to the course, right? It's not going to duplicate videos and do things. It's really good at picking the right time, to put it in a video. And the last thing here is course theme. Now, fully customizable themes here, right? So you can build your own themes or you can customize one that's pre-built into the software. Use your own colors and fonts and logos and all sorts. And then next. Oh, sorry. I didn't mention topic navigation. I've put free here just for the trial, right? For this demo because I want to be able to flick between all the subtopics. But normally you would probably put linear because you want them to progress in a linear fashion. All right. Any questions about any of that stuff? Does that make sense? Okay, I'll keep moving on. If people ask questions, feel free to come back. So step 4, quiz. So notice it very clearly says formative assessment quiz. It is only giving you a basic assessment on what is written, and it can be a combination of true or false, single, multiple choice, fill in the blanks, and matching. And you can sort of do things like, do I want to progress on the wrong answer? I'm doing that here again for the sake of being able to flick through. You can set the maximum number of quiz questions. When you have fill in the blanks, you want twice the number of blanks. Match the number of blanks, or you want twice the number of. We'll just do that, and then we hit generate content. So the first part, he's painting ebot's painting his little masterpiece. What he's doing is what they're doing is actually generating you the topics and subtopics first for the course. It's not generating the text yet. It's generating the topics and subtopics. So you can edit those and move things around. It's literally drag and drop too. So you'll be able to move a subtopic to a topic. You'll be able to, like drag and drop the whole topic down and up. You'll be able to add your own topics in, and then it will generate based on what you've typed in as well, right? So putting on some final touches. While we're waiting. Oh no, there we go. Beautiful. Success. So it's now generated me topics and subtopics. All right. Now, with images, it's about average to do about 1 million generation credits per image. 1 million generation credits for the whole course if you use images. That's the average. It can be more than that. It can be less than that, right? Depending on how much you've put in terms of prompting, how much documents you've added. Just know that the more that is, the better the output. I think the better the output of the course, right? But just know that it's worth the generation credits. our base package only comes with not much more than 1 million generation credits, 1.7 million generation credits. So you'll only get 1 or 2 courses generated in the base package, but the idea is that it's meant to be a base level of delivery, and then you purchase extra credits to add courses if you're wanting to generate a whole bunch of courses all at once. So you're not purchasing it every month, and we have to increase the price so you can purchase it every month. So it's designed so that you purchase when you're generating, right? And I'll explain how that works. But just note, about 1 million per course is a good guess when it's a standard course, right? Obviously, comprehensive is going to get more than that, and focused is going to get less than that. So that's a good guess. And we've got some beautiful topics and subtopics here. It hasn't necessarily gone by elements and performance criteria, but it definitely uses it to reference it if you know the accredited stuff. Just know that it's going to generate you a pretty decent course. And also, sometimes it won't add the subtopics for the case studies necessarily. You'll see them after when it starts generating. So I'm going to hit generate, and this is going to take about 20 minutes or so, I would say, around about. So we'll see how many topics has it got to generate for. 20 something, I think. It loads. And now he's cooking. eBot's cooking. So I'll come back to, come back to this actually. So what I'm going to do, this is the one, here's one I generated earlier. I literally just did this today. So you can see I haven't touched it really at all other than just having a quick look. So firstly, you'll notice we got learning objectives, just needs. This is the subtopic that I'm reviewing here. Now, if I like this bit of text and I want to turn it into text I want it to speak those words. I can get AI to do that. But before I do, I can actually get it to expand that text if I want to. I can get AI to bullet point that text, to summarize that text. I can even do a prompt edit. So just tell my AI what I want it to do. All right. There's text to speech. Now, this will generate you an audio of that writing, right? So if I do that, I'll show you what it sounds like. It does a really good job of generating the audio for a particular file. I'm doing language English UK. Just know that whatever language you do here, it is going to read it out in English. So even if like whatever language you'll just use there, like that particular language's accent, but it'll read English, right? But mostly you can use a bunch of different examples of this. I'm going to go Natasha. Some of the voices are more robotic than others. I did Matthew. Is it Matthew? William, sorry, last time. So I'll do Natasha this time. Just know that some are more robotic than others, and you'll see. You'll note it uses generation credits when it does this, when it does text to audio. All right, that's another 4,000 generation credits. So it's gonna generate using that. So if I convert that, now we got eBot. Whenever we're doing AI assisted editing, he's a gardener. So gardening, planting a little flower. All right. So hopefully I'm going to mute myself for a second while I play you the sound so you can hear the sound coming from it. Hold on. By the way, let me know if you can't, okay? If you can't hear the sound.
A clear, respectful way to discuss rights and responsibilities with a client. In aged care, a conversation about rights and responsibilities is not a one-off tick-box chat. It is a practical way to help a client feel safe, respected, and involved in their care. When this
I was speaking, sorry. I turned off my mic so that you could hear the sound nicely. But yeah, if you get any issues with sound like we just saw, I think you'll find that it pauses at the right moment, things like that. But if you get any issues with sound, you can always just contact the little support by clicking this little bottom right-hand corner button and just letting them know. They'll probably be able to, if there's anything like that where it's sort of not done a good job of generating the text, you'll probably get those generation credits back. You say, it used about 4,000 generation credits. Can I get a refund of those 4,000? And they'll happily do that for you. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. But yeah, hopefully everyone get the point of it pausing at the right moments. It sounds really respectful and nice. Again, different voices are different. You'll note. I think the Australian voices are quite good in general, both of them. Sorry, Julia asks, can you tell us an indicative cost to generate one accredited course with all the bells and whistles? I sort of did. So when I was showing you the estimation, it's about $1 million to start with images and everything. If you go to use AI in the thing, each time it'll use a little bit of AI to generate. So, but mostly it's a million or a bit, maybe a bit more if you're doing a few edits and using the AI. A little bit more than $1 million, maybe would be a good guess. And yep, I will definitely talk through the dollar rates when we go through the pricing at the end. I'll show you that. Yeah. Actually, what I might do is jump in and go through pricing. I'll just put that up. I'll come back to that though. I'll come back to pricing. The other things to add just before I get to pricing, there's some other things to note here. On the right-hand side, you've got a little bar that you can use. Oh, sorry. So Thea asked, so if you're using an accredited course, oh, sorry. Weird. So if you're using a accredited course from tga.gov.au and create your course for this, then it means your course does not have to be accredited again. We might have to come back to that question there because I think units of competency will always need to be validated if you're doing accredited units. That's a whole nother discussion in terms of courses for summative assessment tasks, observations, all sorts. This is really just giving you content, practical example, case studies and scenarios, and a formative quiz. So it's just the basics of the knowledge of a course. It's obviously not going to be able to deliver practical. It's not going to be able to do summative assessment tasks. Right? So we'll have to come back to that. Question's a much longer question, but I'm happy to answer it maybe outside of this session. Yeah, I'll come back to you on that, okay? If you're using it, okay, it needs to be validated before uploading. Yes, is the answer to that. 100%. I would validate it, review it. AI is really great at generating you text, but you always have to come through and review it. I would use AI in multiple ways. You can use AI to generate how does the structure of the course look. You can use AI to decide what sort of learner AQTF levels or LLN assessments you need. You can then use AI to generate, and then you can use AI to review any courses that you generate as well. So I would definitely be using AI all the way along the process. This is just the course creation part of that. Okay, and yeah, I can talk you through that too, Thea, if you want. If you want me to talk you through how you might start to do these things. One of the other things I wanted to sort of add on the right hand side here, you've got a bunch of different options for extra things to add, right? So if I want to add videos or audio or document viewers, I can do that by just clicking and dragging it into wherever I want it. All right. Sorry, my internet seems to be a bit slow. So I'll go, I can upload, whatever, and it will do that. If you go to delete things, it'll definitely ask you to do that. Images, call to action buttons, content banners, images on the left, right, above, top, bottom, whatever. It'll 2 columns, 1 column. You can do interactive activities like flip cards, hotspots, step slides. So that's really handy. It's got steps as accordions right now. Eventually, that's going to transfer over to step slides by default. Excuse me. Hotspots, really cool tool. So if I add a hotspot here, I'm going to show you something. It sort of gives you a little bit to how you would add images as well. But if I go to add a hotspot, what I want to do is go AI, and we can add an image. You can use AI to generate the image here. We also have 2 free image libraries, all right, that you can use. I'm just gonna, I like Unsplash better than Pexel, but yeah, you can use either. Aged care. Boom. Now, you'll notice from the theme, you can add little icons, and I'll talk through theme in a minute, but then Hotspot allows you to add multiple icons, and you can put little bits of content in them. You know, you just edit the content just by hitting this edit hotspot, and you can copy and paste content from here, or you can, yeah, you can make it like more interactive. So if you want to do that, I'm just going to hit save on that just so that we've got something to preview. And then I'll preview it to show you what it looks like when it's actually in there. Loading, loading, loading. Boom. Just wanting to sort of show that part of it. So that's sort of how the hotspots sort of come out. It'll be related back to that theme. See how I sort of we've gone back to the theme, and it gives you a little hotspot to do. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully that's all. You can also do AI assisted editing here too. So if you want to do text to speech for the whole thing, you can do it using this. Generate an image, generate scenario, case studies, or practical examples. You can do that too. Now, if all the text from a section is deleted, you can use AI to generate the text for that section too. And it will use AI and generate some more. Is there any way to create courses without using AI credits? That's a very good question, Miguel. The answer is yeah. You can you just use the orange buttons when you're generating. You'll notice that when I hold on, let's see how we go. Ooh, 23 of 20, we're almost done. When you create a course, you'll notice at the end of the topics, I'll just go through this again. I just need to select things. You'll notice at the end of this, create outline manually. And then you can also create text manually too. So you don't have to use AI at all to do that. Yeah, feel free, ask another question, Miguel, to answer that. Yeah, okay. We'll come back to it. All right, so that's AI assisted editing. You'll notice the icons at the top here as well. So if I want to edit the settings of the course, like that's the prompting settings, right? If you use document conversion, it automatically puts it into the creative mode again. So I would still prompt it if you're using document conversion. That's a note. But yeah, course settings, edit topics, subtopics. So like if you add something in, you just want to delete a subtopic, you can just come back to edit topics, delete it, add a new one in, type over it, regenerate that section. That's all fine. Preview will just preview it. If you go into the annual subscription only, and I'll talk you through pricing next, you'll note that you can download SCORM files, all right? And then of course save. I would save it every time you edit something here. I would save it. Very important. Yeah. So hopefully that answers most of those questions. If you had any questions about AI assisted editing or anything like that, let me know. All right, let's go to pricing. Actually, before I do, again, sorry guys, before I go into pricing, I also want to touch on themes. So themes are ways to edit the branding of the course, right? So by default, you'll get a bunch in there, right? If I go, you can edit those or you can create a new one. It's got a bunch of different settings here. You've got course theme style, right? But then basically, it's going to give you all the info. Now you can edit the cover page. For each course, you'll note that it will auto-generate the cover page. So you don't need to edit this on the theme unless you're doing a lot of document conversion, because that would use the cover page that's there. Completion page, obviously this doesn't relate, so you may want to edit the completion page on most. It doesn't auto-generate the completion page. Course banners, you'll notice background, color. You can put a background with text over it. You can use icons. You'll notice there's lots of little practical examples, case studies, video icons that you can use. Course builder is basically all the settings associated with fonts and images and tables and everything like that. So Thea asked a question. So if we're working for an organization with this, recognize with this, sorry, I'm confused by that. But I think the question's asking, you could use the themes, fonts, colors, layouts for the TAFE. Yes. If you're doing one for a TAFE or for an RTO and you've got your own theme, marketing design themes, you can absolutely customize it to your own content settings. Interactive activities have different icons that you can use. We even give you default icons as well. Padding, even it goes really a lot. It goes into a lot of stuff. So feel free to have a play with that. Preview, it even does the left-hand side menu down to the color of the start button, graduation of the start button, that sort of thing. So yeah, lots and lots of things in there. Corner, image, topic, headings. Yeah, so much stuff there. All right, let's get into pricing. Oh, hold on. Let's have a look and see how our course is going. Oh, almost done. Just adding the final ingredients. This will take, a minute or so. So let's go through pricing. All right. So we give you a free trial on this, right? It's a 14-day free trial. You get 2 free courses. It doesn't give you all the things that you get. It's just a trial, right? So you have a go, build a few courses, see if it's going to be good for you, and then you can start using. And if you'll have to put a credit card in to do the trial, just like any subscription service, like Netflix or whatever. You can actually go into the speech. Oh, hold on, into the little question mark tutorials here, and go to subscription. It'll teach you um, how to cancel if you don't want to. If you don't want to, you can see how it says auto renew subscription. You can turn that off, and that will allow you to not. It won't charge you if you don't want to be charged. Oh, hold on. They asked another question. Can the completed course be uploaded into any LMS, e.g. Moodle, etc., or just the eSkilled LMS? The answer is any LMS, especially Moodle. Moodle has 2 ways to connect it, via LTI or via SCORM. And I'll talk you through that. And as soon as I've gone over pricing, I'll talk you through that. All right, so pricing. We've got this is AU dollars. Obviously, you've different pricing models here. Monthly will not give you access to download the SCORM files. If you do monthly, you'll need to continue the monthly subscription and connect your system via LTI. Right? LTI is sort of like a window into our tool, bringing progression data back and forth. Okay, so you'll be able to use that in any LMS, especially Moodle allows you to do LTI. So you would be able to do monthly if you use LTI. If you want to download them as SCORM files, you'll have to go to annual SCORM file downloads. All right. That will allow you to download the SCORM and then upload that SCORM into any LMS tool. and just about every LMS tool on the market has a SCORM functionality. SCORM is literally just a package of the course. It's a zip file that will then be able to be uploaded into any LMS system so then you can work out whether students have progressed through the course or not. This doesn't have any of that built in. It's just creating that course, right? Now, each of the packages give you an amount of things. So firstly, one user, that's people creating course content. 20 gig of storage, you probably never go near it unless you're uploading videos into the tool. You can also link videos if you want to link them from a tool, and it won't use generation. Won't use storage. 1.7 million generation credits per month. So each month you get a course and a bit, right? To generate content. If you want to go beyond that, like if you're creating a lot of content at once, but you really don't need any more than 50 courses on the system at one time, you can use extra generation credits instead of purchasing the upgraded package. Right? Most people, though, go with Maximize because it's not that much more and you get a whole lot more. You get extra generation credits each month. You get a lot more storage. You get an extra user and you get 120 courses to be able to sit on the package, right? So that's that one. And of course, when you go annual, you'll notice that it's a discount on the monthly fee. It's a discount on the monthly fee, but you've got to pay that up front then. Right? You can always upgrade your package to an annual later if you want to just try monthly, see how it goes, and then upgrade it. You can absolutely do that. At that point, it'll pro-rata you what you already have, and then start you on the annual from there, from the end of your pro-rata. So yeah, it will help you upgrade if you need to, right? And you can do that within the package as well. You don't need to speak to anyone. You can just go into the subscription and upgrade at any time. So yeah, that's what you're getting it. I'm going to give you a link to this area anyway. You just go free trial from where I send you, and you'll be able to do that. And I'll show you a QR code too. Now, to connect, you either got to download the SCORM file, right? Oh, sorry, Abdul asked a question. Sorry, Abdul asked, does it generate assessments? As I said, Abdul, before, it generates formative assessments only, not summative assessments. There's a training resource creator coming in a few months. That will generate you summative assessments. It'll give you a whole lot more, right? But that you'll be able to upgrade your package to the training resource creator when it comes. Just know that. But to use any LMS system, you just download to SCORM, or if you're wanting to go on monthly and connect it via LTI, you can just click on the top right-hand corner here of any of the courses and enable LTI. Now, there's a process for LTI for most LMS systems. You'll have to connect keys. You'll have to, add the tool into your system, but you can absolutely do that and connect it. I recommend the LTI option because that then means if you edit it on the system, it will automatically edit it in your course on your LMS. Right? Whereas if you download SCORM and upload it, then you've got to just re-upload it into the tool. So there's options there. There's also an option here for generation credits used. How many generations did I use? In this one, 1.2. In the one that we just did, I have used, not that one. That's a preview link of the course that I showed you before. Generation credits used. I used 740,000. It wasn't even what was estimated. So there you go. I haven't used a lot of generation credits there. But it'll depend on the unit. It'll depend on a lot of things as to how much it uses, right? So don't expect that little. Mostly you'll get over 1 million, I would guess. Okay. Does that answer everyone's questions? I think while we're waiting for questions, I might just bring this one back up. And you can use start your free 14-day free trial, and there's use these promo codes. JLU26A for annual, JLU26M for monthly. So feel free to scan the QR code. While I'm waiting for any questions, feel free to ask any questions right now. Happy to answer them. While I'm waiting for questions to be asked, some questions people ask often are, what AI tool do we use? We're agnostic. We use multiple AI tools. At the moment, ChatGPT 5 point something is the best, so we're using that for mostly everything. There's a few things that use other tools, but yeah, we're agnostic. So what I tell you now might change. Yeah. If you're using any LMS system, you should be able to download SCORMs at a minimum. Some of the systems require a specific type of SCORM to be downloaded. I know, like Accelerate, for instance, requires you to download simple sequencing SCORMs, otherwise it won't work. That's something to note. Most of the systems will use 1.2. I like using 1.2. And our Moodle system, we've got a Moodle-based system too, Thea, and we use 1.2, and it's beautiful in SCORM. And then, of course, if we connect it by LTI, it's like that. And no more questions. That's unusual. I think I must have answered them by default. Have a play. I think, guys, the best thing you can do is trial it, test it, see how you're going with it. If you have any questions later, you can always ask the support team. They're really good at getting back to you. You know, give us a day or two for the basic stuff. For the more advanced stuff, for the basic, like, unless it's a bug or something, we'll obviously sort them out pretty quickly. But if it's anything, you know, that you want support with, you can always ask the support team. We have the other big thing is we use the ISO 27001 for data security. So everything that you put in there is encrypted. It's encrypted when we feed it through the model. It's not gonna feed the model, but it's gonna go through the model and it's gonna be encrypted back. It will not feed the model. Right? So it'll push it through to the model via encryption, and then push it back. So all your data is yours. It's not going to be fed to the world as well. So that's one thing to know. Let me know. All right. I'm happy to leave it there, guys. If you have any final questions or any last things, feel free to ask them. Scan that QR code, get your 14-day free trial. Just click the try now for free, and then put in those promo codes to get your discount when you do pay. Not going to charge your credit card up front, FYI. And Thea, I will speak to you later. I'll send you an email after this, and you can book a time with me or my colleague, Gerald. I might get Gerald to give you a buzz and talk you through anything else. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to let it go here. Have a good day, and yeah, like I said, ask any questions you want via email later if you choose. I'll get sent them through, and I'll answer them as they come. Thank you. Have a good one. No worries, Thea. I'll get him to call anyway. Leave a message, and you can call back. Cheers.